We're going to talk a little bit about resource guarding here. Now, resource guarding is typically where a dog has an object or something that he wants to guard and protect. Usually we see it with food, sometimes we see it with toys or bones, and for me, when I see a dog with that type of behavior, and it can be a very serious behavior. People have been getting bit over this, or other dogs that walk by a certain dog's food bowl or toy, they can get into fights over this. So this is a very serious behavior, and we're just going to talk mainly about preventing it. If you have some severe problems with this, where you are afraid of the dog, or you're afraid that there's a major problem, you definitely want to seek the help of a professional in your area. But when it comes to resource guarding, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people make is the dog has a bone or a certain object, and the person tries to dominate that. They see that the dog wants it, and their solution is to get on top of it and say, no, you can't have it. I'm the tough guy here. And for me, that just kind of adds to that problem. The dog is already afraid that you're going to take something away, which is why he's guarding it, and to sit here and get confrontational with the dog just makes that behavior worse. So what I want to do is, if I suspect my dog of resource guarding, if I have any thoughts about it, if I'm worried about it, I typically start with the food, and usually I feed the dog from hand. So when I get a dog that comes in and I notice that when I walk by his food bowl, he kind of guards it a little bit or anything like that, I typically just start with by hand. So I have the dog's food. If the dog eats a cup and a half of food, I have a cup and a half of food, and I just, hey buddy, come here, and we spend some time eating that food. I can do some obedience with that kibble when I'm working with the dog, but I want to just spend some time, and I want to let the dog know, like, hey buddy, I'm going to give you your food. There's nothing to be afraid of, defensive about here. Like, everything's cool. We're going to just hang out and eat some food. Once the dog gets comfortable with that, and I feel the dog's done pretty well, it's typically like a 3 or 4 day deal. And it is a pain, so I realize that it is a pain to sit there, and it takes up some time to do that, but it's important, especially when it can prevent a bite. And when I get to that point, 3 or 4 days, everything's getting comfortable, I start feeding the dog out of the bowl. But usually what I do is I have the bowl down on the ground, and I put a few pieces in, and I just kind of stand here, and I drop a few pieces in the bowl, the dog eats a few pieces. I drop a few pieces in the bowl, the dog comes in and eats a few pieces, and I'll sit there and I'll feed the dog that way. And I'm really just trying to get that signal to the dog that I'm not here to take things away from you. You don't have to fight me for your food. And I think that's one of the mistakes that most of the time when we get a call about a dog that's been resource guarding, it's typically a situation like that, is where the dog has been nervous, and it seems like the dog is nervous about something being taken away from him, so the dog wants to guard it. And the wrong behavior to do is to do that. Like, we're just kind of reinforcing that dog's fear. Yes, I am going to take your food away. I am going to take your bed away. I am going to take your toy away. So for me, it just kind of goes into these controlled sessions where the dog's allowed to have some of these things in small bits and increments. I'm hanging out, and I just want to kind of break that ice with the dog and show the dog, like, hey, I'm here. You don't have to worry about your toy being taken away, your food being taken away, your bone being taken away, whatever. I'm here. We're just going to hang out. We're going to hang out with each other. We're going to eat this thing, and you're going to see that I'm not a threat to you. And again, like I said, this can develop into a very severe behavior. And if you're having some problems with it, if you're worried, if there's already been a fight or a dog bite, you do need to contact somebody in your area to work with, a professional trainer. So.
We post our social media videos to our website, leerburg.com, a week or two before we post them to our YouTube channel. These early release videos can be found on the front page of our site, or by going to the site and selecting Video on Demand from the toolbar, and then select Free Videos. Thank you for watching.